Corey here with another Help Me CoryG segment. This one is talking about the unit with two cultures. So here's what got sent to me. Corey, I manage a blended unit. Half of the staff came from one area and the half were reassigned from another after a restructure. It's been 8 months. They still operate like two separate teams. The tension is quiet but real, and nothing I've tried is making it go away. This is one of those situations that if you haven't come upon, you will. There's so much restructuring and realignment and combining of units. And we've seen really services have changed where we used to have specialty units that now have become a little bit more general med surg. And so this is something that's really, really important. So 8 months post restructure and you still have these two groups. That's really not that unusual. And I'm hopefully going to give you some things today that will make this a little bit easier for you going forward. If you go straight to team building with combining of these teams and skip the operational pieces, you're going to have problems. And that's the mistake that most people make. They really want to focus on the culture. And culture is important, but operational alignment will create a culture. So we're going to talk about exactly what's going on and why a bowling party or a pizza party is not going to fix this problem. I'm CoryG, and I help nurses gain clarity, grow confidence, and really build consistency, which is what we want to see and what I want for you. So we're going to really walk through a couple of different things here in the next few minutes, and I hope that some of these will really serve you. So if you really focus on this morale, this team morale as your first step, you're going to have problems. And you heard me mention that in the opening. You really want to focus on operations. And how do you focus on operations? First, you get the team to agree and align on outcomes. What is it that we want to accomplish for our unit? And for most places in the hospital, it's pretty simple. We want good outcomes and high quality care for our patients. So start there and work backwards. And then you can start saying what operational pieces and basically how you did what you did in your old unit helped you get these outcomes, and what things were done in the current unit that helped them get the outcomes. And so you also have some additional psychology that's going on here. Someone has probably had to move locations. If both groups move to a new location, that's a perfect scenario because no one has home court advantage or no one feels like an outsider. And so you have to really weigh that as well. When someone's speaking to you or bringing a complaint forward, you have to think about, is this a home field advantage complaint or is this a visitor complaint? And so focus on outcomes first. That's the first takeaway. The next thing is why do these identities exist? We're creatures of habit. So people find safety in going to a unit and being with their team, right? To be with their people who understand them, who are going through the same thing. And when that gets disrupted, either you get moved to another spot or people move into your areas, your core identity gets thrown off base. And so what you really find yourself doing is nitpicking at all of these things that maybe aren't that big of a deal. And so your job as a leader is to be sure that you aren't reacting to every single thing, that you really are identifying the root cause. So I really want to talk about one of the most, the strongest example of this in my career is I became a VP, chief nurse at an organization, and was dealing with a department that was in complete disarray. And so as I sat down and really peeled away all of the issues and got to the core issue, it was really because this was a blended unit. And so I spent a lot of time, took a lot of information, and then I went to somebody who'd been with the organization for a long time, and I'm like, I'm really hearing that the blending of these units wasn't maybe handled the best, and this has been a long-standing problem. How long ago did this happen? And they got a huge smile on their face, and they chuckled. And I was like, how long ago did this happen? 7 years. When I was getting the information directly from the staff involved, both the unit that got combined and the existing unit, I thought that it just happened before my arrival. This was 7 years ago. And people who weren't even working in either of the units who had only been working at the organization for a couple of years identified that combining as one of the core problems for the unit. So it was so pervasive that it was even part of the orientation process, because the only way that someone would know that would happen is if someone was bringing that up through the orientation process. So it's so important that you get these right. Here's the good news. 8 months is not too late. So you're 8 months into this, as you laid out in the scenario, it's not too late. But it's really important that you focus on outcomes, that you triage what these feelings are, that you address the fact that this feels different. Feelings aren't facts, but they deserve to be validated. You heard me say that a lot. And really start to work through operational outcomes. If you focus on operations, if you focus on the work, then you can take some of the emotion out of it. And that's one of the first things that you need to do, is to take the emotion out of it and focus on the work, focus on the operations. So I made kind of a parting note here that I want to share with you. So culture follows operations. If the two groups are still operating by different informal rules, then they're going to stay two groups, regardless of what you say in a team meeting or how many bowling parties or pizza parties you have. Fix the operating model first, and then the culture will follow. I hope this video served you, and I hope it helps you lead with more clarity, more confidence, and more consistency. I'll see you in the next video.